Well, hello, I'm Alex, and today I've got an idea for making zines. So you can use this simple zine format to develop a daily practice. It's small, it's little, you can take it with you anywhere you go. It's perfect for prompts, and it's perfect for when you don't have time. You know how I'm always saying, it's easy to spend a few minutes a day in creative play. I'm sure some of you are like, well, it's easy for you to say you're an artist. So, I'm making these videos for you to take play breaks with me. This is your creativity timeout, baby. Just grab whatever supplies you have on hand, work alongside me, don't worry. I'm keeping this no fuss fabulous, easy peasy. Go ahead, check it out. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to make collage fodder. Think of this as an overview because we'll be using collage fodder with our daily play with zine series, and now's a good time to create this video for you, and then you can always refer back to it. Okay, so what do we mean by collage fodder? Collage fodder is anything you can use to paste down in your collages. Okay, I like to make my own, and I'm going to talk to you about that, but you can either make it, or you can collect it, or you can buy it. All right, so making it, if you're using your own collage fodder, you get to make collages like this. So you can make marks and scribbles and doodles and use all kinds of colors and mess around with your markers. And then you end up with a big stash of fodders. It's just all stuff you've produced. So if you watch any of my creativity warm-ups, I have videos in there that are about tracing your hand multiple times with different colors, making puzzle shapes, scribbling with both your hands, playing around with inks and splats and spills, mark making, loose mark making. All those videos are excellent for you to do your warm-up, but then save your pages and repurpose your pages to make collages. Isn't that great? Nothing is lost here. You get to have fun doing that, and then you get to repurpose what you made to make something else. And not only that, you don't have to worry about anything you're making being too precious, because if you get in the habit of doing this, you'll be keeping your fodder. Like, I like to keep my fodder in this clear envelope. So all of this is obviously fodder, what I'm showing you today, but some of it is already cut down, so these pieces are smaller and they're easier to deal with. And I like keeping them in a clear plastic envelope because that way I can see them, and it's easier to pull them out because I may not pull them all out at once when I'm making collages. A box like this or a shoe box is just easier to rifle through to keep more kinds of stuff. So on that topic, I don't know if you had a chance to see what's in here, like, you know, basically a lot of doodles, a lot of scribbles, a lot of using my markers. You can also add magazine pages, especially if they have colors you like, to your collage fodder. You can add gift wrap. This is a gift wrap paper, and this is a gift wrap paper. Here's some more of that paper. This is great collage fodder. Old coloring pages that you've started or that you haven't started, you're not planning on using them, don't throw them away. You can use them as collage fodder. Maps, if you have any old books, or if you find old books that people are getting rid of because they're like worn out or whatever, that's perfect collage fodder. What about sewing patterns? I love this paper. So this is very thin paper. Colored tissue paper also works really well for collage. You may have a collection of images that might work for collage. You may have just colored paper, scraps from different things. All of that can go in your Collage Fodder box. Graph paper. This is another page from some of my creativity warm-ups. These are mistakes. This is when alcohol was poured on permanent pen and I just kept going through all the paper. So any of this is good, any and all of it. So that's a combination of the fodder you make, or the fodder you repurpose, or the fodder you collect if you're collecting magazine pages and ad pages where you see colorful things or where you see texts. So you make it, you collect it, but you can also buy it. And when I say buy, what I'm talking about is there are books that are meant for you to cut out the collage, and you may get images with alphabets, you may get images with eyes, with mouths, with shapes, with backgrounds, like maybe there's a background. So these are meant for you to make collage with these any which way you want, and they're a lot of fun. So you can also buy collage ready to go. You just have to cut it out. And let me just show you a few more pages while we're here. So collage is just the best way to get out of a funk. Like if you're in a space where you've got the what do they call it, like the blank page situation, you feel like you can't get started, just follow an easy prompt to make a collage. Couldn't get any easier than the ones I'm going to be giving you guys in my next 4 videos. So check those out. And then the beauty of it is once you start cutting shapes for one thing, then you have leftover shapes for the next, and then for the next, and for the next. And then you're well on your way to always having collage fodder ready to go. Alrighty, I thought I would spend a few more minutes with you and get you set up with some basic shapes that you'll be really happy you have on hand ready to go when you start watching the Daily Play with Zines and Collage videos coming up next. So I rifled through my box, pulled out these papers, and let me quickly show you the shapes I'm talking about. Alright, I'm talking about squares. So if you could go through your Collage Fodder and cut a few squares in different sizes. If it's too big, it's easy to cut down into smaller pieces. So I'm going to just do that. I'm going to go ahead and quickly go through here, cut up some squares. So hopefully you have some magazine pages or some notepads, color notepads maybe, that you can use. So I'm just going to leave that like that. Okay, so the square shape comes up in the first video about making little mini collages that look like quilts and checkerboards. But it also comes up when I tell you to cut shapes and to play with positive and negative. So you can always start with a squarish type shape. That's like your basic starting point, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, this is a good start here. So what do I mean by a basic starting point? Well, maybe what you want is actually something that looks like a circle, or I call them stones or potatoes because they never look like very good circles. So this would be a stone And that's the positive, and this is the negative. And we want to hold on to the negative. Now, you may not think about holding on to the negative if it looks like this, or if it's part of a bigger sheet, you might just rip it and throw it. But if you pre-cut some of your paper, at least, into squarish shapes, then it's really, number one, it's easy to cut shapes out of them. And number two, it's easy to keep those leftover shapes for collaging as well. So maybe what you want is a rectangle, but you cut it out of a bigger piece. So then you get your rectangle, and you get the piece you cut it out of, which I like to think of as windows. So here we've got 3 windows and the 3 pieces we cut out. Sometimes you're wanting to cut this and that's all you're thinking about, but sometimes you're wanting to cut the circle, and then this is the icing on the cake, because you get those too, if you see what I'm saying. All right, so we've got our squares and our stones. Another way you can take advantage of a squarish shape is to make triangles really quickly, and all you do is go from diagonal to diagonal, and you'll end up, or maybe you want a big triangle and 2 small triangles. So squares are great for triangles, and squares are great for bridges, and I love making bridges. So what do I mean by bridges? Well, what I mean is you come in here and you just sort of scoop around, and you could think of this as a bowl, or as a cup, or as a door, whatever you want to think of it. This is my bridge, and this is what I cut out of it, which I'm also going to use. So there you go. Another way squares are fun to use, because it's really easy to make bridges. Is your bridge too high? Is your bridge too high? Well, that's easy to fix here. Here's another one. Wait a minute, but that's probably not a good example for what I was just saying. So is your bridge too high? Well, you just cut it down. No problem, and you end up with 2 little squares. What do you say to that? Okay, so we've covered squares and bridges and the bowls or doors you get. We've got the stones. If you want to make stairs, it's also great to start with squares, and then you just go over and up and over and up, and you have 2 sets of stairs, what I'm calling stairs. Kind of looks like a zigzag if you look at it like this, or like a stair if you look at it like that. I don't even know if that's in view here. Let me make some space here. So we've played with positive and negative. We've made bridges, stairs, stones. We've got triangles. What else can we do? Strips are really good to use, and when I say strips, I just mean, you know, there. That's a strip. That's a strip, right? That's easy enough. A square can be turned into a bunch of strips. So you can see how a square really is the basic shape. You can get your triangles out of it, your stairs, lots of strips, your bridges, which turn into 2 parts. You've got the cup part and the bridge part. The cup part you can even turn into a rainbow and get an even smaller cup part. So you see that? Let's do drops and petals. So a petal is really easy to do because you're gonna start at one point, swoop around, and finish at the same point. Okay, so that's a petal. That's a petal. And the shape you cut it out of, the negative part here, is also interesting, right? So let me do that again. Let's do a blue one. So, and if you wanted this, okay, here would be another way to do it. Go into your rectangle, swoop around, come back to where you went in, and then this would be another window, if you can see that. Maybe this is easier to see. Okay. And if you wanted to turn this into a petal, This can be a petal. If you were making a collage and this was the center of a flower, you could go around your flower with your drops. If you wanted your drop to not have that point, all you would do is go and trim that little point, and then it would look more like a petal that way. All right, so I think I've covered lots of the shapes we'll be doing in the coming collages, and I hope you see how easy it is to just go through all your fodder, cut squares of various sizes, and put those in an envelope and have those ready, and then you can make all these shapes out of that. Okay, I hope you had fun taking this tiny play break with me. Be honest, it was super easy. You know, when it comes to your creativity, it's never about what you're making. It's about how you feel while you're making it, right? Okay, I've got lots more videos on my YouTube channel here, so subscribe, stay tuned, play. Come back and get your daily dose of make stuff feel good energy. Thank you so much for being here, and sparkle on.